Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka Mono Bluetron, back again with another episode of 10-Minute Testing. So today, in preparation for Friday's Linkaribo Legality, we'll be taking a look at the other and largely more popular Level Eater deck, Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now if you're an old player excited that Blue Eyes is playable, I am sorry to say there is nothing for you here but pain. This new deck is just as degenerate as anything else involving Level Eater, so let's just jump into Deck Edit and see what horrors await us. So here's the list, and it looks, well, basically exactly how you'd expect. It starts off nice, cool, nostalgic, then wait, what's that, and oh god, stop. As always, I'll give you a little bit of background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and as always, the card by card. So firstly, for those of you that don't know, Blue Eyes is a deck played by Kaba? Am I saying that right? No, am I kidding? Even the people whose only Yu-Gi-Oh! Exposure is that it came on after Dragon Ball Z know about Blue Eyes. The card was just that for a long time, a card, until a series of really powerful support strategies and a well-timed ban list put it over the top, and it won Worlds. Since then, it's been a rogue deck, never banned out, but always just a little bit too power-crept to be good. Until now. Alongside making Spirit Dragon, one of the things this deck is very good at is summoning an 8-star monster with another one in hand, and wouldn't you know it, it turns out that's actually pretty relevant with Level Eater. By using Level Eater in conjunction with clever manipulation of Firewall Dragon's effect, a board of alternative White Dragon, and any way to get Level Eater in the graveyard, we make an active Tri-Gate Wizard, and we complete the extra link, locking our opponent out of the extra monster zone and providing negation for the inevitable Regeki headed our way. Now the deck has plenty of combo extenders. Blue Eyes enjoys a healthy 6 or 7 tribal monster reborns, so we can almost always ensure our Level Eater has the ability to gnaw on levels until he bursts. Worst case scenario, we're just playing a bad version of Blue Eyes, and actually a lot of decks can't deal with Alternative Dragon. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First, we've got our Blue Eyes stuff. 3 copies of the main man himself, Blue Eyes White Dragon, then 3 copies of Alternative, who is fine as well and an integral part of the game plan. Finally, we've got a Dragon Spirit of White and a White Stone of Legend. White Stone is great for getting a Blue Eyes in hand for Firewall shenanigans if we draw into Shrine. After that are our Level Eater Binners, 2 copies of Mathematician, 3 Armageddon Knight, and 3 of the star of the show. Get it? Level Eater. Finally, we have a Maxi and a Destrudo contingency plan. If we end up way ahead or have to blow up a field spell, he's going to come in handy. Next are our spells. 3 copies of Melody of Awakening Dragon, 3 copies of Trade-In, 3 Desires, 3 Return of the Dragon Lords, 2 Dragon Shrine, 3 Silver's Cry, and our powerful one-ofs, Foolish Burial, Soul Charge, Rhoda, 1-for-1, and Dragon Shrine. In the extra, we have 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon, and the rest are just combo pieces. 3 Firewall Dragon, 2 Tri-Gate Wizard, 2 Binary Sorceress, 3 Proxy Dragon, 3 Linkaribo, and 1 Gaia Saber to seal off the extra monster zone. So, let's not waste any more time, let's get into the games. So our first match is up against Dinosaurs, and thankfully our opponent has not opened any hand traps, so this is really just going to represent the hardest you can possibly go off. We don't have the Blue Eyes half of the combo in our opener, but thankfully we have a couple of draw tools that should make it pretty easy to find. We'll go ahead and activate this copy of Pot of Desires, banishing 10 and finding, oh, thank god, a Melody of Awakening Dragon. We'll send that Level Eater for cost, then special summon an alternative, use Armageddon Knight's effect to send a Destrudo to graveyard just in case, and start chowing down on Alt's levels. We'll go into a Linkaribo, a Proxy Dragon with a copy of Armageddon Knight on our side of the field, a Tri-Gate Wizard, and once that sucker's at 4, a Firewall Dragon. We'll then go into a Proxy Dragon with a now useless alt so we can get this Blue Eyes out of our hand, go from 8 to 7 to get a Linkaribo, work up the chain once again into Binary Sorceress, and then Gaia Saber, sealing off this extra monster zone and allowing us to complete the extra link. We'll go into Proxy Dragon, then activate Firewall's effects in sequence, adding a Linkaribo and a Blue Eyes to our hand, then special summoning said Blue Eyes back at 8 so we can eat its levels again. We'll do that, making a copy of Tri-Gate Wizard, a Linkaribo in the other extra monster zone, and a Binary Sorceress, so we now have a fully on Tri-Gate Wizard. That's really excellent for us, and we'll go ahead and banish this copy of Soul Eating Overraptor as soon as our opponent activates the effect. Love seeing Dinosaurs in the banished zone. They'll set 3 and pass back. That's really good news for us because Tri-Gate Wizard stacks up really well against back row, just being able to MST one every turn. We'll go ahead and attack for 2600, and they chain a Fossil Excavation. I'm not particularly concerned about that, but I will negate this Magical Hat, so they'll take 800, 2500, 1400, 15 for the swag attack with the Mathematician, and 2200 for lethal. So the deck looks really good when it gets to go first and doesn't have to deal with hand traps, but what happens when your opponent wins the die roll? Unfortunately, our opponent has just beaten us in a game of rock, paper, scissors, and they are on hero. They're going to be able to make a Skull Death this turn as well, which is going to severely hamper our ability to not have to play around hand traps. They draw into a Gofu, which is excellent. They're going to go into a copy of Linkaribo and a Link Spider, then normal summon this copy of Shadow Mist so they can make a format Skull Death and get the effect of Shadow Mist, adding a copy of Malicious to their hand to go with those extra copies of Destiny draw. They'll go ahead and fire off one now, set 4, and pass with a Ghost Ogre in hand. So I figure at least some number of those set back row are going to be real. We'll start by special summoning a Blue Eyes alternative dragon. That's going to get Solemn Warninged. We will bin a couple of Blue Eyes, and then special summon back a Dragon Spirit of White with our copy of Silver's Cry, trying to banish a set back row, which unfortunately just forces its activation because it scapegoats. So now we have to deal with a bunch of sheep on board, but otherwise we're in a pretty good spot. We get to start eating the levels of our Dragon Spirit of White. We'll normal summon this Mathematician, setting a copy of White Stone of Legend, trying to bait out some sort of effect negation because the effect does activate even if you don't have targets in the deck. We'll go into a copy of Firewall Dragon and a Proxy Dragon. Unfortunately, this prompts the Ghost Ogre. We will do as much as we possibly can, but now we might just have to get our beats on. We're going to go ahead and eat all of the levels possible of the Blue Eyes and try and end on maybe a Trigate with 2 materials so we can banish one more of these set back row cards. We do just that, and we're going to banish this one on the very far right. It's, of course, a Allure of Darkness, which does nothing. Then we will eat the remainder of these Scapegoat tokens, go into a Firewall Dragon, and pass it back. So things are looking pretty good, provided that set card isn't anything. They're going to Foolish away a Shadow Mist, getting themselves a copy of Vion, activating the effect of Vion, sending a Vion, and then forcing us to use the effect of Link Haribo. We are in a very commanding position here, and we draw into maybe the best card remaining in our deck, Armageddon Knight, sending Destrudo. We will use its effect to bring it to the board, go into an Ancient Fairy Dragon, we'll bring back Love Leader for style points, return that copy of Vion to the hand, and attack for 2500, 2100, and exact lethal. Alright, we're in the third match, so you know what that means. It's going to be a best of 3 against a meta deck. Our opponent is on Trickstar, and you wouldn't know it based on that hand. A copy of Drone Lock, another copy of Drone Lock, a Maxi, a Scapegoat, and a Terraforming could be really anything these days. We've opened very poorly. We have a copy of Armageddon Knight, which of course can send a Destrudo, but not a lot else. We've got a 1-for-1, but I mean 1-for-1 doesn't do a whole lot when you have no other monsters in your hand to send for its effect. We're going to normal summon Armageddon Knight, send a Destrudo, pray to God that we can do something next turn, set this 1-for-1, I don't know, as a bluff, and pass. Our opponent's going to Cosmic Cyclone, targeting our face down card. Ooh, that sucks. Then they're going to use Trickstar Light Sage to get Candina, to get Licorice, attack for 400 over our 1400 attack monster, 200 extra, and then 16 and 200, putting us at a less than comfortable life total. We draw into, of all things, a Soul Charge, and it's usually not very intelligent to take a whole bunch of damage against Trickstar, but if it wins you the game, it's potentially good. We'll go ahead and target both monsters in our graveyard, and there is the Maxi. So the wheels are already turning here. I'm pretty sure I can deck him, and it might just be Synchro Fusionist logic from a couple of formats ago, but we might be able to just work up the chain enough. We can make him draw, like, 25 times. I mean, we're doing a pretty good job already. We're going to bring back this copy of Destrudo for an Ancient Fairy Dragon. Activating their effect gets Ash Blossomed, and I figure, okay, well, there's one more OPT that I don't have to worry about. We'll go into a Binary Sorceress, a copy of Trigate Wizard, once again, moving up the chain into another Firewall Dragon, which we'll make with the AFD, so we can use Return of the Dragon Lords to bring them back. No hard OPT on return, so we can use the other one in our hand as well. We can always banish for our copy of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, but oh god. Oh no, by adding Dragon's Ravine to hand, we have offered them the opportunity to use Droll Unlock, and here's a little interaction you may not know. Droll Unlock is reciprocal, so no one's drawing for the rest of the turn. We have effectively gifted them the win. Alright, game 2 is a bit of a spaghetti game, and the first spaghetti play is accidentally picking second. Our opponent's going to get to start and normal summon this copy of Trickstar Candina, adding a copy of Light Stage to hand. They'll activate that, getting a Licoricica. Then on activation of Licoricica, I'll chain Maxi. I'm pretty happy to draw one card in a controlled environment rather than get Droll and Lock looped. They're going to set one. I figure it's Reincarnation, but most likely there's hand traps in hand because otherwise they'd have a much more explosive turn 1. We're going to go for Alternative and Level Eater. Unfortunately, our alternative is not long for this world. We'll trade in, that prompts the Droll and Lockbird. We'll get in the Link Haribo beats and then pass it back. Link Haribo, of course, better than Level Eater in attack position because it can't be banished by this copy of Eater of Millions, but more importantly because it can change the attack of an attacking monster to 0. So we're going to take 2,000 off of this Candina, but nothing else. So we draw, and our hand is pretty good. It gets reincarnationed into an even better one. That's excellent. We'll go ahead and get an Armageddon Knight, and because we, of course, already have a copy of Level Eater in Graveyard, we're going to send a Destrudo. We're going to Silver's Cry back a Blue Eyes. That triggers 400 damage off the Candina in the Light Stage. Then we will get off to the races with Level Eater. We are consuming the levels of this Blue Eyes, going into a Proxy Dragon, going into a copy of Trigate, going into the one, the only Firewall Dragon, and now a Binary Sorceress, I suppose, to gain some life. But other than that, we don't have a lot left in the tank. We're going to Foolish Burial for a White Stone of Legend, trying to prompt a Solemn or something. There's actually no targets left in our deck. And then finally I figure, cat's out of the bag. We'll just use Firewall Dragon to return the Blue Eyes to our hand, then discard it for a 1/1, get back to Strudo, targeting the Level Eater since it does have a level, going into Ancient Fairy Dragon, destroying this field spell, gaining some life, and then bringing back 2 Level Eaters so we can more effectively navigate this board state. We'll make a Tri-Gate Wizard and then a Linkuriboh so we can banish this Eater of Millions and start attacking for 400 directly, gaining 400 life in the process, 300, 1600, and 2100. So our opponent's down to 33. We're pretty firmly in the driver's seat. Even after this Cosmic Cyclone, they're going to go to 23 and banish a card that I do wish I had. They'll go ahead and normal summon this Candina. That gets them another copy of Light Sage. That Light Sage is going to get a Trickstar Lilybell, which is really good at closing out games, especially when life point totals are this low. They'll go into Holly Angel, attack directly. That will prompt the Linkuriboh. Then afterwards, they're going to attack for 800, 200, and then add a copy of Licorica to hand. Of course, they've already used the effect of Lilybell this turn. They can't attack again, but we will take a little off this Holly Angel, and then we're going to have to find an out, unfortunately, because this Holly Angel is going up to 2200 in our draw phase. We're going to use Ancient Fairy Dragon to gain 1000 life points, then go into Firewall just because it has a lot of attack points. We're going to attack over both of these monsters and then pass it back. Unfortunately, I think I'm missing lethal in several different ways. Our opponent's going to normal summon the Lilybell, attack directly for 800, use its effect to get back this copy of Licorice, and then pass back. So here's another missed lethal. We could have, really done anything here. We knew what was going to happen. They're going to tag out into a copy of Licorice and a copy of Defense Position Lilybell, but of course we don't read that play despite playing this deck in real life and leave them at 100 life points with this silly defense mode Destrudo. After combat, we're going to go into a Gaia Saber so we don't get attacked to death. They'll go into a Trickstar Light Stage, target our set card, go into a Candina for a second copy of Licorice, and miss lethal themselves as well. So, really throwing throws here. We're going to gain a little bit of life points off of this copy of Ancient Fairy Dragon and finally end this horrible game. Alright, after a pathetic Game 2, it's time for that all-important Game 3. Our opponent's going first, but thankfully they've drawn like they're going second. These hand traps are very good at disrupting our plays, but not particularly good at establishing a linear game plan. This Decode Talker is just going to have to be enough. They will go ahead and use Gofu's effect to get 2 tokens and make said Decode Talker with 2 copies of Link Spider, then set 2 and pass it back to us. We are going to start by normal summoning this copy of Armageddon Knight, which immediately gets Solemn Warning, rightfully so. We'll then trade in, which prompts the Drone Lockbird, and Dragon's Ravine, which prompts the Cosmic Cyclone. So, I guess we'll just pass it back. Taking 2300, not in our best interest, but thankfully they draw into another brick, just another hand trap. 2300 to face, and they will pass it back to us. We're going to start by activating this copy of Dragon Shrine, which of course gets Ash Blossomed. That's really good news for us, because now we can safely use our copy of Pot of Desires to draw 2 cards. Oh, Melody and Level Eater. God, that's incredible. And even though our alternative gets destroyed, we still get to destroy the Decode Talker that was causing us so much trouble. Normal summon this Armageddon Knight and start attacking. It's not super fancy, but it's something. Our opponent draws into, what a top deck, a Trickstar Light Stage, into a Candina, into a copy of Reincarnation should we get up to shenanigans. They're going to attack over our 1400 attack monster and pass it back to us. We draw into, oh my god, that's a really good draw too. We'll get Silver's Cry, getting back our Blue Eyes White Dragon. That does 400 damage to us off of the Candina triggers, but now it's time to start consuming levels. We go into a Linkuriboh, and of course we have 2 Level Eaters in graveyard, so we'll just go directly into Proxy Dragon right now. Afterwards, we will go into a copy of Dragon Spirit of White Tribute Summoning in the year 2018, so we can banish that copy of Reincarnation and kill him this turn. So we're back with the deck. Wow, this deck was strong. I mean, I know the game's at a place where people are main decking 12 hand traps, but honestly, this deck was not only fantastic at setting up unbreakable boards, it was much better than the Dark Lord version at playing through hate. All of the BEWD cards have just so much attack, and Alternative and Spirit are just such advantage powerhouses, it's insane. I'll be sleeving up something similar to this in the near future, but if you're thinking of doing the same, ask yourself this. Why hasn't Konami released the January ban list yet? Mark my words, you could easily see Level Eater there February 3rd. So that's that. I've enjoyed this journey through Level Eater Lane, but I honestly hope I never have to see him again. If you want to see me play the decks I make on this show on stream, I'm on twitch.tv/monobluetron, links in the description, every Tuesday and Thursday from 10 to midnight Eastern Standard Time. And if you have an idea for a certain deck or archetype you want to see me play on this show, let me know in the comment section below and I'll do my best. Otherwise, I'll see you Monday.